Hi guys, this is Rosa Kelly and I'm here with part 2 of my interactive mini album tutorial. So now we're going to start on page 3. So for this page, I want to do one of those fun pull down waterfalls. But before I get to that, I want to build the page a little bit more. So I'm going to start with a piece of cardstock and I'm going to cut these at 7 3/4. Excuse me, by 8 1/4. Okay, so the 8 1/4 side, again, I'm going to score at 1/2 inch, and this is going to be my flap. So first thing I want to do is add some double-sided tape and place these right on the top here. So let me start by adding my tape. Here we go. And then I'll put this one on the top. Let's see if I can take this out. Alright, so you want to make sure that you are aligned to the top and the sides are also even. And then we can go ahead and, whoops, I moved it. And remove the tape. So now we have a flip up, and inside here I want to do a small pocket or a pocket. So I'm going to use one of my scrap pieces, and this one seems to be big enough for the purpose here of the pocket, so I'm not even going to cut it. I'm just going to score 1/2 inch along the bottom. And then I want to make sure that I have enough here to go in my pocket, so it won't be quite 1/2 inch on the sides. It will be just a little bit before. So I'm going to score on, I think, let me see, 1 2 3/8. So it's just a little bit before the 1/2 inch, just because my piece is a little bit smaller. But if you want to cut a new piece, you can cut these at 8 3/4, and then you can score 1/2 inch on each side. So now next thing you want to do is cut the corner just like so, and then I'm going to fold along these lines, and then I'm going to glue my pocket into my page. So one more here. So I will put the tape, and then I'm going to place this one right at the bottom, right there. So okay, so now I'm ready to do the fun waterfall. So I'm going to put this aside for a second, and I'm going to start with a new piece of cardstock, and I'm going to cut these ones at 4 1/4, which is right in the middle here. So 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and you're probably gonna need 4 of those. So I have 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so 4 pieces of 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and then I'm gonna use a new sheet, and I'm also going to cut these at 4 1/4. So now I have a long piece like that, and I'm going to put that aside. So I'm going to score this piece at 1/2 inch, at 1, 1 1/2, and 2. And then I'm going to fold along these lines just like that. Bend it up and fold, up and fold, and the last one, up and fold. And then I'm gonna add double-sided tape to each one of those. So I'm gonna start on the bottom. So I have 1. And make sure you don't put your tape over the score line. You want to stay right in between those lines. So that's why it helps to use the 1/4 inch tape. I think the 1/2 inch tape will be a little bit over the score line. Okay, so now I'm going to start on the bottom. I'm going to peel the tape. I'm just going to peel it completely. And we're going to start with the first piece here. I'm going to place it. Make sure that it's even to the sides and to your score line on the top. So that's your first one. And then we go back into the second one. Same way. Make sure you are aligned to the sides and just right below the score line. And then see, we have piece number 3 and piece number 4. Okay, so now we have these 4 pieces. Then I'm going to trim the remaining here from the bottom, but I want to give it a good 1 inch. So from the last photo mat here, you want to measure 1 inch, and that's what we're going to cut. Just like that. And this is going to go right here, right? Now before I add and I complete, I am going to round the corners on the bottom, just so it will look a little bit, you know, more finished. Here we go. So we have the first piece. Now the second piece, we're just gonna grab one of our scrap pieces of paper, like something like this, for example. And I'm going to cut these at 6.5. Okay, so now I have these and I have these. And then here, this piece, we're going to put it on our page. But before we add it, we want to make sure that we cover, well, we're not going to cover the back, but we are going to cut a piece here for the back, for this page. So let me pick one out from the collection. So I'm going to use this cute little butterfly design, and so I'm going to cut these at 7.5 by 7.5, because that's the size. That's going to be a little, so your page will measure 7 3/4 by 7 3/4. So to cover your pages, we're gonna cut them at 7.5 by 7.5. That's gonna be like your standard for a full page. So I love the butterfly design here. So see how this will go like so, right? So now we want to make sure that we know where our waterfall is going to sit. So right here, this is, I'm gonna take this out for now. I'm gonna turn this around, and I'm going to add just double-sided tape to the sides. So I have 1 and 2. And we're also going to be needing our brads for this step, so I will get them out in a second. But first, let's peel off this tape. Notice that I haven't glued this in yet. Okay, so then again, you want this kind of to be this bottom line, you want to align it to the last layout here, to your 4th layout, kind of like there, right? And then you make sure that is center. Let me get that out for now, and let me get that out. So right here we want to make sure this is even, center to both sides, just like so. And then I'm gonna grab my ruler and kind of put it along the center, just like this. And I'm going to pencil mark just about 1/2 inch on this side and 1/2 inch on this side. And I know it's probably really hard to see on the video. Oh, and I'm not even up and down. So now I'm gonna center these up and down, right? So my piece here measures 2.5, so I'm going to put that at 1 1/4. So now I make the other dots here at 1 1/4. So now these two marks that I did, they're basically center up and down and 1/2 inch in. And then I'm going to punch a hole here. And I'm going to use the smallest hole, and I'm gonna just go right on top of that and right on top of this one too. Okay, so then we want a piece of paper and cover this up. So I'm just gonna work with this piece, and I'll probably just use the design on the back. So I'm just gonna cut a piece a little bit smaller than that. So I'm gonna start at 6 1/4 by 2 1/4. And so that will go right here, and then you can still see a little bit of the black around. So I'm gonna go ahead and just glue this in. So after I glue it in, I'm gonna turn this around, and where you have the little hole, we're gonna punch the hole one more time. So I'm just gonna go right on the same hole. Okay, so here now we're gonna add our brats. These are so cute. So I'm going to use the little teacups for one side and the little clock here on the other side. Oops. Okay, so I like adding the brats because they provide extra protection here, because we are going to be doing, you know, pulling that waterfall up and down, and you don't want this piece to come apart. So the brats really help secure that in. So I'm gonna just open this up and secure these, and same thing on this side. I'm gonna put the little teacups and just secure these in. Perfect. So now we take our page again, page 3 that we were working on. Oh, this is not it. It's right here. So make sure that, you know, your opening ends to the top, your page opening is to the sides, because this is how the page is gonna go into your album. And now we're ready to add this in here. So I'm gonna add the glue. And make sure you put glue on your brats too, so they're not spinning around. At least I don't want mine to be spinning around. Okay. And now I am ready to put these ones in. So pretty. Okay, so now we're ready to add the second piece, or the first piece. Before I put this in, I'm actually going to add the paper that's gonna go along the bottom here. So this measures about 7 inches by 4 1/4. So I'm cutting these at 6 3/4 by 4, and this piece is gonna go here. Now I'm going to round the corners on the bottom and just glue this in. Here we go. Now the rest you could do, you know, after. That wouldn't be a problem. And you will cut these photo mats at 4 by 4. So now I'm going to add this one into here. I'm going to slide it in and kind of center it up and down. Now I'm going to use some double-sided tape, or you can use some glue. And I'm going to hold this here and open that. And I already have it in place. So I'm just going to put a little bit of double-sided tape here on the center, just like that. You want to make sure you are centered within your slide in here. You don't want to put the tape from here to here. Okay, so and then I'm just gonna peel off this tape, and again I'm holding my card down and I'm gonna fold it in, so that way the last photo mat will stay in place here. And then I want to make sure this is gonna fold. I'm folding this again because I didn't fold it. So then when we pull down this tab, see how that becomes your pull down waterfall. Now if you like, we could add a little pull down tab. So I'm going to be using probably another one of these pretty tabs. And see, let me see. Maybe I'll use the butterfly, since I have so many butterflies already on this page. So for that, all I'm gonna do is just pull this down just a little bit and kind of in the center, just make a hole, just like that. And I'm gonna place the little brat, and then I'm gonna turn this around and close it. Okay, so let's see, make sure my butterfly is facing just one way. Now to make sure this is not gonna get cut with anything, I'm just gonna put some tape in here, just a little piece like so, just to protect that. So here we go. So now we can use that as a pull down tab. So yeah, so here is our page 3. Then we're gonna finish covering the papers, but then when we open it, then we have a pocket down here and plenty of room for pictures. So now we're going to do page 4. So for this page, I'm going to cut a new sheet of paper at 8 3/4. Just like that. And I'm going to score this piece at 4 1/4, just like so. Okay, and then I'm also going to turn this around. On the 8 3/4 side, I'm going to score at 1/2 inch, and then again I'm going to go and score this at 1/2 inch. Okay, so then I have this piece, so I'm going to fold this on half, and I'm going to cut. I'm just going to use my scissors for this. You can use your trimmer if you like. So I'm going to cut kind of like a little notch here, and then take one of these sides out, just like so. Okay, and we're gonna do the same on the other side. So I'm gonna do like a little notch, and then I'm gonna take out this part. So then I have these two. So this, it's going to be a little opening like so, and this we're going to do a little pocket. So I'm going to use my sheet. Sorry, here's the back of page 3, will be page 4. So this little notch is going to be here. So that's going to be our pocket, and our pocket is going to open up this way. So what I'm going to do is add some glue. Oops, I'm running out of glue here. So I will add the glue, or you can add the tape. Actually, yeah, why don't I just do the tape? So I'm going to add tape along the bottom, just like so, the bottom of the pocket. And then I'm gonna add tape on the sides, just like so. Trim off the tape here, and same thing here on the side. Okay, so now this, like I say, we're going to place along the left side. So I'm just gonna take off all the tape. Can't do it like that. I'm gonna take that off, and this one too. Okay, so then I'll just place these on this left side. Okay, so now we have a pocket and we have an opening as well. Now I'm going to use another sheet of paper, and again I'm going to cut these at 7 3/4 by 8 1/4, and along the 8 1/4 I'm going to score 1/2 inch like that. And these I'm going to place on the other side, opposite to my pocket. So, oops, tape everywhere. So this time I'm using the 1/2 inch tape because, well, actually I have a little bit left here, kind of running out. And so when I use the 1/2 inch, you will see that you have just a little bit of tape left over. So I don't know, maybe because I'm super picky, sometimes I trim that off, but that's why I rather use the smaller tape. But to save time, I'm just gonna leave it. So again, I'm gonna place these along the opposite side of the pocket, and this. So we will have an opening here, this page, and then I'll probably add magnets here, and then we have a pocket as well. So really fun, interactive page. So now we're going to continue with page number 5. So for this one, I'm going to utilize some of my scrap pieces. Now this one measures 4 3/4, and this one measures 4 1/4. So I'm gonna cut both of these at 7 3/4. Just like so. And oh, sorry about that. And I'm going to score 1/2 inch again on one side here, and for this one as well, 1/2 inch So I'm going to place one on the top, one on the bottom. The one on the top, I'm going to round the corners just like that. And now I'm just going to fold along my score lines, add my tape, and place them. Okay, so I'm actually going to round the bottom also. Just, I think it looks better when we do that. So for the closure for this page, I'm going to use brads. But before, I'm going to add the paper on this page as well. I cut two pieces to cover my page. So these ones were cut at 7.5 by 4 and 7.5 by 3.5. So that will be the top and the bottom. So now I'm gonna glue these two. Okay, and then for the closure, I'm going to use brads. So I'm going to, just to make sure I am on the center, I'm going to, this measures 7 3/4. Actually, the inside paper measures 7.5, which is much easier to divide on 2. So you're going to pencil mark right at 3 3/4, and that is where we're going to punch a hole. And then same thing on the top, you want to mark a 3 3/4. Okay, and then we just go with your punch and just punch right where you make your marks. So we do 1, and you can see, and 2. So next we pick our beautiful brads here. So I really love the Alice in Wonderland one, so or I should say the one that Alice is reading. So I'm gonna put that one on the bottom. Okay, and I don't want to push it all the way in. I'm gonna give it just a little bit of room. Okay, and then I'm going to use some twine. So I have blue and pink. I don't know. Ooh, okay, so I'm going to go with this pink, the darker pink, because the flowers are kind of dark pink as well. So I'm just gonna cut. I don't know where my other scissors went. This one barely cuts. So I'm gonna tie it here on my brad on the bottom, and I'm just going to make a knot. So let's see, just go like that and like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna cut the remaining from them. So I'm just going to kind of go under this a little bit and just cut it right here. I don't know if this one's cut any better than the other ones, but yeah. Now I want to make sure that my Alice is not going to be spinning around. So again, I'm going to go back here and add some tape to the brad, just like that. So this is one side of that, and then for the top, I'm just going to pick a different design. And since I have flowers, I'm gonna pick the same flower design here. And these are so pretty, so pretty. I love these. So again, so now this one also, you don't want to push them all the way down. You want to give it a little bit of room so you can, you know, wrap these around. I'm gonna go back here, close it, and I'm gonna add some tape. So this is gonna be the closure here. We're gonna use these little brads, So, and then you can make this as long as you like. I think this is quite long, so I'm just gonna trim that right there. Now, for the inside of this is kind of like an envelope closure. For the inside, I'm going to do a waterfall. So first, I'm going to cover this, and I'm going to cut another piece of paper at 7.5 by 7.5. Okay, and then to do my waterfall, I'm actually going to use just a 65-pound weight instead of the heavy weight, just to avoid bulkiness. So I'm going to use 2 sheets, and I'm going to cut these ones at 4.25. Okay, and then I'm going to cut these at 6.75. So I'm going to score each one of these. So I have 4, and I'm going to score them 1/2 inch along the 6.75 inch side. So this little waterfall will fit 4 by 6 pictures, and you don't have to trim them or anything. You don't even have to cover these ones, because then you will only see, if you after you add your picture, you will only see just a little bit of black. So I wouldn't cover that on paper. So I'm gonna start by adding, I'm actually gonna do this with glue. So I'm gonna add some glue here. Oh, my glue is kind of dripping. So here we go. So I'm gonna start, and I'm gonna place this little waterfall on the side. Okay. So notice that I'm leaving just a little border of the page. And then I'm gonna open that one up and do the same thing. I'm gonna fold this along the score line and add some glue. And I'm gonna place this right next to the other one. And then I'm gonna fold it down and make sure that I have enough room here. So it looks like we're only gonna be able to fit 3 instead of 4, which is okay. You still have room for 6 pictures. So again, a little bit more glue. Okay, so just like so. And I like putting it on the side like this. That way, here we can embellish some of the pretty images from the paper. But we will do that after, when we're embellishing the album. So I'm gonna close this up and start on the next page.